I'm Diana Adams, sex law correspondent for Sex Crimes Cabaret, here today with Maggie Mayhem in California to talk to us about some of her experiences with porn Wikileaks.
Absolutely.
What happened with porn Wikileaks, Maggie?
Well, I'm a porn performer. I have a somewhat interesting career in porn. I actually do not work in Los Angeles, and I tend to do most of my work in the queer do-it-yourself scene. But the Porn Wikileaks website was a major invasion of porn performers' privacy. It was a group of individuals who had an axe to grind with the industry and decided to take that out on the performers themselves by accessing the adult industry medical database and perhaps some of the 2257 documents. The 2257 laws were more or less designed to make porn performers vulnerable.
Absolutely. And 2257 basically means that porn performers need to have all of their identification on record everywhere, which is potentially an invasion of privacy for porn performers, as well as very, very difficult for pornographers. And then if you can explain what the AIM registry is, adult.
Absolutely. The Adult Industry Medical, and that is, actually it is now closed. It is now entirely defunct. It is closed recently. Due in large part to the lawsuits that they are facing and some other problems that they have had with the potential breach of confidentiality from when they were hacked, and also with some other shame issues and some competition with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. So they've had a great deal of problems and licensing issues.
So that was a registry of sexually transmitted infection testing records of people who are adult performers.
Yeah, it's a database that the porn industry relies on in order to keep everyone safe. Especially with performers who may or not be using barriers with their partners. It is a choice that is available to them. And one of the precautions that we do to keep ourselves safe is to get tested every 30 days for gonorrhea, chlamydia, and for HIV. And the test that they used for HIV was not the standard antibody test. It was actually a PCR DNA test, so it was going to be accurate 10 to 12 days after a potential infection. So having this 30-day testing window was a really great way for us to keep ourselves safe. And it was one of the first things that people went after in order to attack the industry. It was actually the barrier and the protection that we had for ourselves, for our bodies. And 15,000 names were revealed in the leak, and these spanned over many, many years, up to 8 years ago. There's only about 1,200 active performers in the industry at any given time, so having a number as large as 15,000, that was affecting people who may or may not be performing in porn anymore, people who have moved on to other careers, who have families, and it was their full legal name, their date of birth, and in some extreme cases, even more personal identifying information, such as Google Maps images of their homes, their residences, the places where they now work that may or may not be in porn, information about their family members, and how to contact family members. In some cases, there was even encouragement for people on the web coming to the Porn Wikileaks website to contact the parents or family members of porn performers and to straight up call them out or to shame them out of the industry. And shame was the big focal point of the Porn Wikileaks website. It was designed to shame people out of the industry, and they even expressed that in their mission statement, saying, "We are going to save the lives of women by shaming them so much they will not go into porn, that they will leave it and have better, happier lives." So they did see themselves as philanthropists or activists, while simultaneously calling themselves great fans of whores, great fans of pornographers, great fans of pornography. So it was a very, very interesting debacle, and I was one of the people who was impacted by it. And then the next layer of shame was when I spoke out against what they were doing, they targeted me even more specifically. I found my name on their message board forums, and it was specifically stated that, I think the official quote was, "What does that dumb whore Maggie Mayhem think she can possibly accomplish by talking to labor unions about what is happening with Porn Wikileaks?" And I do hope to accomplish quite a bit, actually, but most of what I wanted to do was to continue raising awareness, because I will not be shamed into silence, and the only way to fight someone who wants to reveal your personal information is to stop being ashamed of what they're revealing, to stand by it and say, there is no shame in exercising your First Amendment rights, that we do have a Constitution, that it does protect me, It's the first thing. It's the first item in the Bill of Rights that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech, among the other things, and free expression of religion as well. There is no shame in using my constitutional rights, so I'm not going to be shamed into silence. And I did speak out, and so they went to the next layer of saying we're going to attack her specifically. So they started to look for more information. They did encourage their users and their message board fans to go to my website. So maybe once or twice a day, I will receive a harassing email. My website gets spammed frequently with my personal information that they're trying to get to comments. And I've also been harassed on Twitter. I've had my information publicly posted on Twitter. I'm constantly going through the process of working with Twitter's tech support people to get that information removed. So it's been a long process, but shame has been their primary weapon.
Is there anybody that you know whose information was leaked who had a personal impact with their safety, their family, or their job?
I think I've known so many people who are affected, and yes, there's a great deal of fear. I knew several performers who actually went about eradicating every connection on the web from their porn identity to themselves, who basically decided to go into an early retirement strictly because they no longer felt safe to perform the way they were. There are many people who were afraid of that affecting their work. The additional problem, the people who I knew who were the most affected were people who were not actually porn performers, but were people who used the adult industry medical testing services to get tested because they either had a partner who was in porn, or because they went to a party with porn performers, and in order to play with them, they went through the same testing regimen so that their information would be available. And they were never on-camera performers, but their information was included in that same leak. And that was very difficult for them because they had no idea, no community support, and no idea of what to do. And I think the biggest hurdle was what happened was not technically illegal. The law is not here to protect anyone in this case. It's really going to be left up to performers and for the industry to protect themselves and fight back and try to make some changes to keep our safety and our privacy intact.